Alright, hello everyone, this is Crota giving you Game 3 in the series between Zenio and Hasu here on Metropolis. Liquid Zenio spawning as the blue Zerg here at the 6 o'clock position. Meanwhile, Hasu spawning here as the red Protoss. Protoss Zerg once more, and so far Zenio has been easily taking care of whatever Hasu has thrown at him by pretty much getting into the late game and coming at him with that very strong Infestor Broodlord combination. We are going to see Hasu building up a pylon behind his own mineral patch here, and I am curious as to how he will perhaps be trying to utilize that forage fast expansion. Now, let's take a look at Zenio. Zenio just mining away down at this position, and we'll see if he does go for a spawning pool first, or if he tries to deviate and perhaps go for a hatchery first here on Metropolis. Now this Overlord is not going to get into position just quite yet. It's not going to be able to scout out his opponent, and more importantly, he may not be able to see any buildings until later on. What he really needs to see is where this first pylon was placed and the timing on when a forge or a nexus goes down here. Now taking a look at it, Zenio may be going for, nope, he is going to be going for that spawning pool first. That does mean a little bit later he should be able, that means that he should be able to get a pair of Zerglings and a queen out here. Overlord now flying around. It is going to be making its way straight here as the forge just now is starting to be warped in. It's a very similar build as to what we saw here in game 2. As a probe now heading down to the low ground, we'll gather a little bit of resources, make a nexus, and then perhaps make a pylon before moving out. There's that pylon as Hasu is going to be doing a little bit of scouting now. Very important that the probe does have a little bit of minerals that it's currently holding. It will be able to just return cargo in order to be able to pass through any of these drones and head back home rather quickly. Now we are seeing a hatchery come in here, is about 40% done, and we already see a queen now being trained, 4 Zerglings now being trained as well, so I guess 2 sets of twins, or Zergling's going to be able to chase a probe there as the probe and now trying to slip away. We are going to see this drone try to grow up and be a hatchery, and the timing on this drone is at the standard 4-minute mark. He is going to try and build a hatchery here. There is a pylon block beautifully done by Hasu, making sure that this one particular drone is delayed just a little bit here. Now this pylon is taking a bit of damage. Most likely will simply just get cancelled as the hatchery has now been placed down, but there was a good delay by about 15 to 20 seconds. We are adding a gateway here. Perhaps we will be adding in that cybernetics core there, and with that one pylon here, that means that Zerglings will be forced to run by this photon cannon in order to get inside the base and properly scout. Now, all the scouting was pretty much done by Zenio with these 2 overlords here. One thing to note, that there are destructible rocks here on the corners where players may try to take an island expansion a little bit later. It will take a little bit more time to actually clear out those expansions, as we now see a probe trying to do a little bit of scouting and perhaps take a look and see if another base is being established, and the saturation on this one particular hatchery. Hatchery is about 80% done, yes, and we are seeing the queens now making its way over. What was it trying to do? It looked like it was attacking something, and I thought he was attacking the destructible rocks, but no, that is not the case. Down over here, nope. Queen just making its way over here to that 3rd base. We are going to see 3 queens on 3 bases. Still waiting for an additional queen to be trained up here. Nope, only 2 queens at each of these locations here. There's that 3rd queen now being trained, as we see whether or not Hasu is going to try to perhaps open up with a bit of harassment. A Stargate already being placed down. An Overlord now being utilized to sacrifice itself and get a little bit of scouting. There is one Stargate here, and I do not believe that this Overlord has spotted it just quite yet. Nope, it is going to come in here, and a little bit of lucky placement as Zenio is going to come in and spot that a Void Ray is also being trained up at this Stargate. If you did not tell, if you take a look here, you can actually tell that there is what is actually being trained there just by taking a look at what is coming through that Stargate. There you go. There is that Void Ray, as a second Void Ray now being trained up as well. Now, the Overlords in position here are going to have to be very careful. Overlords do fall to Void Rays rather quickly, and if you have a fully charged Void Ray, a fully charged Void Ray will take down a Queen rather very, very quickly as well. You can see that the Void Rays are going to shut down these Overlords, and now the Overlords are already repositioning themselves to try and come back in. No more Chrono Boost now on this Stargate. I'm curious as to what will be happening next, as we are going into an additional gateway. Perhaps we should see some Phoenixes being trained, as an Overlord now tries to escape this one particular Void Ray. Void Ray does move relatively slowly for an air unit, but still much faster than these Overlords here. All right, Void Ray unable to catch up to this group here, as the Void Rays are now in position. How much damage will be dealt? A Queen now making its way over. Damage is being dealt here, and now it looks as though that Void Ray is dealing pretty much full damage already. Now going after the Queen. This does have to be a little bit of an issue, as the Void Ray, down to 142, 133 hit points, does back off for just a second. Now, what is going to be happening here now, as the Zerglings are now trying to do a slip by? The Void Ray is able to attack while moving, so that is a little bit of a benefit there, but there is currently still only one Void Ray trying to utilize this pressure. That Void Ray does not have any armor, taking the full damage from that Queen. You can see the Void Ray is backing off and hiding itself here, where normally an Overlord would be hidden. The Zerglings do not want to slip out. This Void Ray already with 4 kills. We can now see 2 additional Void Rays, and now sentries coming in as well. Oh, this potentially could be a problem if the Queens are caught on the wrong side here. And that could be the problem, as now we see 3 Void Rays all coming in together. There are Queens in position, and where is that Warp Prism going to go? Oh, this could be very, very bad. There is the Force Field, and now what is happening here? All right, there is some transfusions. The Void Rays are fighting inside the cover of that one particular Guardian Shield, and that is going to be very helpful there, as we may see another Force Field on the ramp. Are we going to see that Force Field on the ramp? That is the question. Yes, we are, and that means Zerglings will not be able to make their way out. Roaches are going to be added in here. Infestors, Queens are off to the side. This is a very, very all-in type of attack here, as the sentries may place on another Force Field. Yes, able to do exactly that. There are still more Zealots making their way over, as the sentries are getting in some damage. Down goes that Roach Warren. And are we perhaps going to see another Force Field? Oh, the timing just opens just enough. Another Force Field does need to come down, and yes, does capture a whole bunch of units now on the low ground. Queens now being forced to push back here, as there are 1 Stalker, and are we going to have enough units here? Roach is now trying to make their way over Hasu with a pretty much all-in attempt here. 1 bad Force Field may have been the difference, as the Roaches have been able to counterattack. All the units perhaps now going to leave here in just a moment. And wow, beautifully played by Zenio. Hasu, being very aggressive, was unable to actually deal any damage with that one very, very strong attack there. Macro Hatch now coming in from Zenio. Taking a look off over here, you can see that there is a hatchery already in position. Sentries should be able to drop out here in just a moment. No, it looks like the Warp Prism will be simply retreating and returning back home, as Zerglings are now doing a hop, skip, and a jump, and will be going inside that main base. All right, there is 1 Zealot here. It is up against a position where only a few Zerglings can surround it at a time. And now here we have that Warp Prism making the very, very long trip back. 1 Stalker sitting in at this front door. Double photon cannons here. The Infestors made... Oh, Immortal now up on the high ground, actually getting in some easy attacks here on those units. Immortals with a range of 6, getting in a lot of damage. And where are these units perhaps going to go next? Here we have the attack on the front door. There is 1 Zealot. Infested Terrans now coming in, and oh, that is going to be a problem. All those Infested Terrans are going to be hatching, but now last Infested Terran does go down, trading a lot of energy for 1 or 2 units and some shots off onto some of these front door as well. We'll see what's going to be happening here. We can see, 8 infestors now trying to press on the front door, and Zenio just wants to apply a little bit of pressure. I don't think he's actually trying to take the game here. He just wants to make sure that Hasu doesn't get back up and running. Hasu had lost a lot in that attack, and if he can limit his opponent to 2 bases while he's sitting on 4 geysers, that will just ensure his victory even more quickly. By denying this nexus here, he's not going to be able to power all of these gateways. You can still see he can warp in 2 stalkers right now, as the stalkers are now backing into position. 1 stalker here without blink, caught on the front side. Looks like the Zerglings will take it down, as now we may see another attack here. Are we going to see a fungal growth? Oh, no fungal growth. A Colossus now in the group here, and this could be a problem. The Colossus just pretty much slicing apart all of those Zerglings. Now down here, at any point the units could just make a charge up the ramp. There is a photon cannon in the back. Zealots quickly getting taken out, as now we see more infested Terrans come in. Force fields are placed down. Roaches are not able to engage. 1 Immortal trying to fight off the apparent swarm of units. Infested Terrans, Roaches, and Infestors. More infested Terrans now just simply being lobbed into the air and landed here. Alright, the Infestors are now on retreat, able to head back home. But a lot of damage already being dealt, as Mutalisk now flying across the map. A 70 supply advantage, and it really looks like Zenio is going to take 3 straight games over mousesports' Hasu in a very impressive fashion. Colossus now trying to make their way over to these infestors here, quickly get taken down by the swarm of Zerglings. Not even heavy upgrades on those Zerglings, as we now see 2-0 just about to complete. Mutalisks are still flanking around. He's pretty much forcing the Stalkers and forcing so much of Hasu to fight a war out of position constantly. Even though Hasu does not have that much territory to defend, it always feels like he's a bit out of position, as we now see Mutalisks flocking their way inside the main base, taking down a couple of probes, and now backing off again, as we now see an attack over here on the north side. Colossus quickly going to get surrounded. Immortals not going to be able to handle these infested Terrans. Infested Terrans quickly poking apart all of those Immortals there, and now this pretty much could be it. Could the infested Terrans take down that last Immortal? Yes, it does. Mutalisks now getting picked apart by Stalkers, but there is the GG. Well played, and the congratulations from mousesports' Hasu, as Liquid Zenio takes 3 straight games over mousesports' Hasu. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.